Hello, welcome to the shed. I am your man in the shed, Andy P. Hope you're all very well. Before we get started, if I could ask you to like by hitting that thumbs up button, share, I don't know, tell a bus driver about it, subscribe so you don't miss one of these cool dudes videos. So today, evolution is a mystery. Sung by Lemmy from Off of Motorhead from the song Line in the Sand for the entrance of the stable called Evolution in the early 2000s in WWE. Has there ever been a more correct line written in the song? Perhaps. However, just because it is a difficult subject doesn't mean it's not true. So evolution through natural selection versus the book of Genesis from off of the Old Testament, which starts, of course, with the line in the beginning when God created the heavens and the earth. It's a great line. Science, with its research, versus the Word of God, as written in ancient times from a narrow point of view by immoral men. It says that God spent 6 days creating earth, dividing the waters of the land, bringing forth all creatures of all kinds that live on the land, creep on the land, fly in the sky or swim in the sea. Sounds like they just sort of wrote about things that they observed to me. It also brought us such gems as Noah and his incredible ark, a massive boat, which Noah gathered all the creatures, at least 2 of each, along with his wife and his 3 children and their partners. So this boat set afloat whilst all of the land was drowned in water above even the tallest of mountains, until the rain and the fountains of the sea stopped when they were all able to land upon Mount Ararat, which is in modern day Turkey, Armenia border, I believe. Anyway, from there all the animals returned from where they had come. So this means we will have to think here all the different species from around the world. So kangaroos found in Australia. It's a continent. Many species are found there, but nowhere else. Madagascar has been separated from mainland Africa for hundreds of thousands or even millions of years. It has a unique ecosystem, yet all the animals in Africa should be able to live there, yet they're not found there. Why? How did these creatures return to different areas as well? So let's have a look. Why do polar bears go north whilst penguins went south? Best answer though, I have to say, from a creationist, I've heard for this, is perhaps the polar bears ate them. It's a good answer to be fair. Although I'm a believer in evolution and the earth is definitely 100% a globe. Flat earth is for a different day. It's easy to see how early man would go with cheetahs were just there as mankind wasn't there at the start. Again, looking at the world from the men that wrote the Bible, they wrote what they saw. So fish were in the sea, so we'll say that they were already there. This makes sense. At these times, people lived generally in a small area. Travel was limited. They would write about their existence, although I'm not sure that anyone really witnessed most of the stuff that did happen in the Bible, because they're stories. These manuscripts were written, pulled together to form one book. From many, it became the Holy Bible, the original now referenced as the Old Testament. I'm sure when it was written, it would have been called this. Why would they call it the Old Testament off of the olden days? Written Hebrew, then translated. However, who's to say this was done correctly in a non-biased way? And bias is important with religion. The bias will be for your own faith, where in science there can be no bias, as it's conducted using observations. If the same experiment occurred and the results were completely different, it's wrong. I'm not saying a belief system is wrong, and so-called Darwinism or science both aren't religious beliefs, but as religious groups who believe in saying young earth creationists dislike their truths. This is because it goes against their bias, which is their faith and their conservative religion. So use religious propaganda to disprove science. Why not? We have witnessed a lot of this over the past few years with the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic, which is still affecting our way of life in some ways today. Fortunately, with medical science, we were able to come up with vaccines that help with the global fight, and it's speedily returned our lives back to as close to normal as it can be. Yet there are some who vocally oppose lockdowns, wearing a face mask, claimed the vaccination program would put chips into our blood. It was Bill Gates' fault. Of course it was. Sorry, Bill. Don't mean to drag you into this. I'm not blaming you. No proofs, but slanderous claims en masse. With science, the world is starting to recover. Once those in power lose their powers and intelligent grown-ups take charge, things can quickly start to move on. I'm not mentioning any US president there. Went a bit off topic, but let's have a quick look at evolution. What makes evolution hard to believe is the scale of time. It has happened over the lifespan of the planet Earth, which is around 4.5 billion years old. Microbacteria life form started around 4 billion years ago. This is known due to there being traces of them in rocks. A bacterial soup, if you like, and I've heard it called that many times. Eventually plants started to absorb sunlight. This photosynthesis created a byproduct. The plant removed carbon dioxide and let out oxygen. Now, at this time, Earth had very little oxygen, but these plants created so much, it's believed to have wiped out around 97% of all life on Earth in an event known as the Great Dying. Fantastic name. I am sure you'd agree. There have been 5 mass extinction events during the long history, and the last being in the meteor that struck in Chernobyl crater, which is now in Mexico. Yeah, I did totally ruin the pronunciation there. The impact caused by a meteor around 6 miles wide created a blast that would wipe out 75% of all life on Earth. However, small mammals had started to hide in the shadows, away from the rulers of the Earth, the dinosaurs. This meteor caused fires. Anything within a 1,000-mile radius would have been annihilated immediately. Then there were worldwide tsunamis, which would have killed anything near the coast. All the displaced rocks which were thrown into the sky at impact would have been superheated, would eventually fall back to Earth, causing more fires all around the globe. The destruction would have been fatal to almost all life. Only small mammals that could hide would have survived. And they did survive. Once the dust of the explosion settled, that would have lasted around a couple of decades. According to fossil records, mammals now were the dominant species. After about 100,000 years, mammals the size of cows were around, which is pretty large. I'm sure you agree, certainly bigger than humans. Ferns were the plant life that became the most dominant on land, probably due to the fact that they don't have leaves, so the reduced in sunlight wouldn't affect them quite as much. The ferns are found in places like Siberia, and a lot of them are also in Canada. Once the ash had settled and sunlight returned properly, mammals started to increase in size. However, the giant insects had now gone extinct due to reduced level of oxygen in the atmosphere. And the more oxygen, the larger the species could get. This is why dinosaurs would achieve such large bodies. Evolution through natural selection has to be the rule of life on this planet. But what does it mean? All life formed over many generations. Of course it did. So, say if we were descendants from apes, why are there still apes? Why wouldn't there be? It's like if Americans come from Europeans, why are there still Europeans? There is nothing to say both can't exist, and let's be fair, Americans and Europeans, we do coexist. evolution doesn't mean older forms can't still be around. Arachnids are a great example with old style spiders, with their evolutionary superiors. You know, even the evolutionary superiors doesn't mean they're going to be able to destroy the old type. Creatures evolve. Evolution is caused by environmental reasons to survive predators, disease, or other environmental issues. Size of an animal could be due to the amount of food available or not. Temperature, speed. An elephant will give up speed due to its size, but have greater strength. Whereas ants, which is their size, are mighty strong, also have speed. Wasps or hornets are members of the bee family, which has evolved to hunt and live alone or in smaller hives than, say, honeybees. Fun fact here for you. Fact fans, hippopotamuses are closely related to whales and dolphins. They are to pigs or rhinos. Plants also evolved to get help with breeding. They have a multitude of ways to pollinate their species using the wind, or the wind is a primitive way. Insects and birds are a fabulous way, but there are attraction techniques which are incredible. Liquids which only some insects can reach. Flowers, stems only allow the right insect or birds to harvest their bounties, whereas fruit can be eaten. The seeds pass through the animal to help spread them. Anyone who thinks plants are boring, you don't know what you are talking about. Evolution means not ever every plant will grow again. Again, the quality of the soil, the pH level will determine how much acid or alkali is in the soil. And also think about it, if you grow plants yourself, not every seed that you sow will grow. It's almost going back to the don't count your chickens before they hatch sort of thing. So this will determine which plants will grow. One of my favorite species is neither a plant or animal on the evolutionary scale. That is fungi. And I know what you're thinking. So how are fungi interesting? Well, they generally live underground, so they don't use photosynthesis, as they aren't green leaf plants. On the evolutionary scale, it's closer to animal than leaf plants. By the way, they actually hunt for that food. It is required to help plants decay. It's throughout all forests, grass areas, even athlete's foot is a type of fungi. One of the most versatile species on the planet is fungi. Finally, I'm going to finish with fish. There is no species that is a fish. What is a fish? Cod are different species to, say, red mullet or a shark. Goldfish wouldn't mate with salmon or a sunfish. However, we just call them fish and don't really think about what they truly are. They are unique species. Anyway, that's a brief history of this story of evolution. It's a short version, but with modern science, DNA tracing can show how evolution determines how close we are to other species, which proves all species come from a starting point, like bacteria. And with evolution, all species can either survive the rule, and more like the dinosaurs, they're mammals, or evolve, or die out. However, evolution doesn't mean a new species necessarily means the old one must die out. That's why we still have apes. Dogs, though, haven't evolved. They are bred. Not all breeds are good, as their health may be hard to maintain, like English bulldogs. True dogs are wolves, foxes, hyenas. Not all pets or working dogs around today. Cats, rabbits, mice are also custom bred, although there are rabbits and cats, of course. Creationists say evolution didn't happen. Science has proved many things, yet timescale, 1 billion years, is totally hard to comprehend. Although it's hard to comprehend doesn't mean it didn't happen, although science doesn't have all the answers with modern scientific techniques and many different applications from biology, geology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. science can look back through the history of our home planet and beyond. Remember, the scientific method is often thought of as a straightforward process. Form a hypothesis, test or try to disprove the hypothesis, although experimentation, and then revive the hypothesis. If the hypothesis was wrong, then it's wrong. Doesn't matter who came up with it. Religion is biased to its belief. If the Bible said in the beginning, when God created both the heavens and the earth, this is what they'd like to believe. However, many senior figures in religion do both believe in God, which is great, and evolution through natural selection. Are these figures like the Pope or the Archbishop of Canterbury, for example? I'm guessing that creationists find the Bible in some ways easier as a timeline, as it's not so long. Totally get that. The violence of the Bible was recorded around 1500 years ago from scrolls of that time. If the Bible was taken from scriptures recorded over the last 1500 years, the violence would make the Old Testament look like a picnic with all the barbarism from those times. Plus, through a few dozen pandemics, that would include COVID-19, of course, Spanish flu from 100 years ago, and then, of course, the good friend, the plague. If Earth's timeline of 4.5 billion years was shortened to 24-hour clock, recorded history would only be 3 seconds. 24-hour history of Earth then, so at 0 hour, Earth was formed. About 4 to 5, the continents first formed. At about 6 o'clock, first life forms start to evolve. Between 6 and 10 at night, all life confined water. Around 3 billion years that was. Sorry, let me just go back to that because I totally screwed up what I was saying there. So between 6 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock at night, all the life would have been confined to water. That's around 3 billion years. About 10 o'clock at night, or 2200 hours, plants first appear. 10:45, dinosaurs first make an appearance. At 11:23, Africa is formed. 11:30, mammals start to appear, and at about 11:40, dinosaurs are wiped out by a meteor around 6 miles in diameter. So we're quite close now to midnight, and then about 2 minutes to midnight, the ancestors to humans first walk on the earth. And now, midnight again. It's modern day. Anyway, hope you have enjoyed this video. If you could like, share and subscribe, that would be amazing. Make sure you tell the postman, yeah? This has been your man in the shed, Andy P. Thank you so much for watching. See ya, pals.